Alright, so it's December 20th, Battle of the Bulge from Compass Games. And I'm going to do like a mid-turn video here, and I'll do an end-of-turn synopsis, show you how things play out. Because currently we just finished up the 0830 hour and actually the 1000 hours, and the allies have just finished their turn. Show you a little bit about what the board situation. First of all, the big deal down here in Bastogne is, well, 10th Armored was forced out of town. So 2 VPs there, and the 2nd Panzer exploit move, breakthrough move to Neuchâtel. The other issue is that the 1st SS Panzer is across the Meuse River, north of Huy. And to counter that move, the Allies sent the 2nd Infantry Division down into Vermont to cut that supply line, but the supply line still exists through here. Now, on the following turn, when this guy gets to go on the 21st, if he can exit off, that's 5 victory points. You get 1 VP for his per strength point if he's in supply when that happens. He's also going to get 3 points at the beginning of next turn if he's in supply and across the Meuse. So that's 8 points. That's a big deal. It's going to be hard for the Allies to bounce back from. I figure desperate times call for desperate measures. So because the Allies, or the Germans, to secure that supply line, moved the remnants of the 116 Panzer across into Marche, pick up the VP there, they're leaving only temporarily, for the short duration. You only have one little brigade there, the Führer Bodyguard Brigade at Mannheim. 101st Airborne is at La Roche, where it ended last turn, hoping to get to Bastogne, but in light of the new situation there, I figured the best course of action would be a desperate attack into Mannheim. Now let me show you how the combat works in the game. It's basically, you're going to roll a number of dice equal to the strength points. So this guy's going to roll 4 dice, and what you're going to try to roll on each of the 10-sided dice is a 3 or less. That's going to be modified according to a couple of factors. In this particular battle, it's going to be modified by -1 because the Führer's Bodyguard Brigade is an armor unit. So he needs to get 1 or a 2 in order to inflict a hit. Mannheim's got a defensive rating of 1, only a 1 strength unit here. So you got to inflict at least 2 hits in order to do anything to him. If 1 hit's not going to cut it, the defense of the terrain will eat that hit right up. So you got to get 2 hits on him with only 4 dice. 20% chance on each of those 4 dice. It's not the greatest odds. Alternate strategy, we could bring 9th Infantry Division into Huy, but you got to get 2 hits on this guy, and because he controls the space, he can still gobble up one of those hits. It is an armored unit there, so again, he's going to be rolling 4 dice. Needs a 3 or less. He's going to get a -2 to his target die roll. So he needs to roll 1s and 2s again because of the armor unit that he's attacking. But it's an open space that gives him +1, so that kind of cancels out. So basically, 1s, 2s, and 3s will score hits, but you need to get at least 3 hits in order to get him out of here and secure the supply, or cut the supply line to the bridgehead over the Meuse. So not really liking those odds. Kind of figured, well, let's start with this one because I can still do that one later, but if I do this one now, these unactivated boys aren't going to be able to punch through and reinforce the tip of the Bulge. So I went ahead and decided to do this, and here's where it gets super interesting. All right, so the Führer Bodyguard Brigade is going to roll 1 die, but there's a little plus symbol next to him. And what that means is he gets to roll 1 extra die above his strength rate. So he's going to actually throw 2 dice. He's going to try to get 4s, but because he's attacking an elite infantry unit, that's going to be modified down by 1. So he needs 1, 2s, or 3s. But because he's crossing a river, that goes up +1. So 1 through 4s will score hits. He rolled the dice, and what he rolled was a 7 and an 8. Both misses. No big deal. This is what the Airborne threw. Man, Screaming Eagles. This is the most, it's a very unlikely result, but I kid you not, that is exactly what came out of the dice tower. So that's going to kill this guy. It's 3 hits. One's gobbled up by the defense. The other one can be gobbled up from by going ahead and retreating, but that leaves 1 hit left, and so he's going to die. But he's not a 4-strength unit, so he doesn't inflict a VP loss to the Germans. So he's just going to go away permanently from the game. These guys are now exhausted for the turn. The control token goes away. These are really cool tokens, by the way. That goes away, and now in the supply phase of the next turn, these guys are going to be out of supply unless the Germans can punch through and reestablish that. So, very, very interesting turn of events here, just in the middle of the December 20th turn. Okay, now this is the situation at the end of December 20th. And what's happened here is, as I described in the earlier video, Bastogne has fallen, and the Allies have a developing problem here. Biggest developing problem is that the Germans have crossed the Meuse here. Now, since the middle of the turn, 2nd Infantry Division has held on to Verbemont by their fingernails after a very, very heavy attack. We're talking 7 dice being thrown by the 2nd SS Panzer. Got another 6 dice thrown by the 9th Panzer, and the 3rd Panzer Grenadiers throwing 4 dice, all at the fully strength. Actually, yeah, it was full strength. 4-step elite 2nd Infantry Division here, holding the door shut to that supply line. And they were able to hold on. Only 3 hits were inflicted. Sadly, no hits were inflicted back by those infantrymen, but they held the door shut for now, and that gives the Allies a little bit more breathing space. They'll be able to get, I think, a replacement step in there, but boy, it's going to be hard to keep that door shut with that much strength pressing against it. Lots of maneuvering down here around Bastogne. The Führer Grenadier Brigade was able to come up and close up the opportunity. The Allies were nosing around the perimeters here north of Bastogne, and so that has been slammed shut. So the 4th Infantry Division has fallen back to support the armor here, 10th Armor south of Bastogne. The danger is they could be isolated. This could become a pocket in and of itself. So there are some issues facing the Allies. It's not game over, but boy, they got their work cut out for them. What's going to help them? December 21st, fuel shortages will start. So how that works is 3 fuel tokens get placed on German units by the Allies. Then the German player can remove 2 of those tokens, and then the 3rd one will be stuck with it. And so what this basically does is it turns their 2-hit number to a 2. So, for example, let's pick 9th SS Panzer. If he got stuck with all those tokens, not only could he only move 1 space, but instead of trying to hit 4s on attack, or excuse me, 5s on attack, he would have to, his target 2 hit would be a 2. So that's kind of a rough consequence. You really don't want those things to happen, but that's going to be the situation for the rest of the game. Is every turn that's a step to the sequence of play where those 3 tokens get placed. The Germans get to veto 2 of those tokens, and then the 3rd one is stuck on a unit. So there you go. The situation weather-wise will turn on December 23rd. Clear weather will start. The Allied player will then be the initiative player, so they're going to get back-to-back turns here, and that's going to help the Allies the rest of the game in their counterattacks.